episode of Agency Blueprint, we're diving back into Module 2, Crafting Your Elite Squad, wrapping up this section with a focus on bringing in your top-tier player. In our last session, we had a real talk about searching for that A player in your crew. Now it's time to switch gears and delve into the art of bringing that A player onto your team. So let's cut straight to the chase and dive in. Here's the game plan for our session today. We're kicking things off with the 3-round interview technique, sliding into how to compensate your contractor right, moving on to the contractor agreement, and finally, we're going to break down team architecture. Let's get it. Diving into the 3-round interview process, I laid out a blueprint for you in our last session, giving you a glimpse of how it's supposed to go down. Now, we're about to go in depth, focusing on the final stretch of that journey. Let's really get into the nitty-gritty and break it down. In our previous session, we got into the real talk about where to find your future team, right? We explored Upwork, LinkedIn, and Facebook, discussing strategies to draw folks in and get them to fill out your application form. That way, you can begin the process of sifting through and finding your stars. Now, let's make that smooth transition from the application form straight to those rounds of interviews. We've done our part, meticulously vetting the responses on those forms. It's time to take it up a notch and start having real conversations with these potential team members. Let's get on those calls and see what they're really about. We've touched on the undeniable value of these conversations, highlighting how they're going to help you unwind and get comfortable in your role. It's almost like snagging free coaching sessions, and we're going to dive deep into all of that in today's talk. So stick around, because we've got a lot to unpack. Let's quickly rewind and recap the process for clarity. First up, we have the application form, which we've thoroughly discussed in our last session. Next in line, we extend an invitation via email, encouraging them to schedule a call on our calendar. I've walked you through how to handle this in our previous talk, guiding you on setting up that crucial round 1. For this initial round, expect to engage with a crowd of about 30 to 35 individuals, with each conversation lasting in the ballpark of 15 to 20 minutes. All right, we're narrowing it down from the 60-plus responses you should have received on those application forms. It's all about finding the cream of the crop. Next up, we're aiming to have 30 to 35 strong candidates stepping into round 1. Now, a key point to remember: if you haven't hit that 60-plus applicant mark, don't stress. There's no hard and fast rule saying you must wait until you have 60 people in the running. It's all about moving forward with the talent you've got. Even if you're working with a smaller pool, say around 30 applicants, feel free to start ringing them up for those initial interviews. There's no need to play the waiting game, leaving them hanging until your applicant list hits a specific number. Keep the momentum going and dive straight into those interviews. Moreover, if a couple of weeks have rolled by and despite giving it everything you've got, you find yourself with just 15 applicants, that's completely fine. Keep grinding, stay persistent. Once your applicant count hits 30, you're in a good place to start dialing them up for interviews. Don't let the numbers game hold you back, keep pushing forward. 30 to 35 candidates is a solid target to aim for, but remember, it's not a strict requirement. Even if you find yourself with around 22 individuals, that's still a decent turnout. The main goal here is to give you a sense of direction on what key performance indicators to keep an eye on. Ultimately, the more candidates you interact with through these interviews, the more information you have at your disposal, ensuring that you make the most informed and beneficial decision when all is said and done. After wrapping up round 1, we smoothly transition into round 2, narrowing our focus to 7 to 12 individuals, allocating 15 to 20 minutes to each interaction. Following that, we enter the decisive round 3, engaging with a select 2 to 5 candidates within the same time frame. From this refined group, we will pinpoint our A player and also identify strong backup options, ensuring we're set up for success. Now, tackle this topic of overcoming imposter syndrome, because, let's keep it real, you might be feeling a bit uneasy about hopping on these calls. You're probably thinking, man, I know the game way better than I do, especially when it comes to Facebook ads and paid ads. It's a bit intimidating, right? But here's the thing. That's totally okay, because that's not where our strengths lie, and it's cool to be open about that. Now, that doesn't mean you should throw professionalism out the window. you've still got to look the part and carry yourself with confidence. Just remember, it's all about playing to your strengths. Our main objective here isn't to outshine them in their field of expertise. If that were the case, we wouldn't be in the process of hiring them, right? So, battling this imposter syndrome, you might catch yourself feeling out of place, interviewing folks who've got heaps more experience in digital marketing than you. But don't worry, we're not just going to overcome that feeling. We're going to flip the script and get these people pumped about the prospect of joining our team. I've got 3 key strategies to make that happen. Let's get into it. First off, we're talking professionalism. When we show up to those interviews, we're going to be more prepared than anyone they've ever encountered. This instantly sets the bar, showcasing the high standards we uphold. Next, we've got abundance. With a large pool of applicants in the interview process, not only are we more likely to make a solid choice due to our broadened perception of quality, but it also instantly boosts our authority in their eyes. Lastly, investment. By the time these candidates reach round 3, if they make it that far, they are heavily invested in this opportunity. It's a crucial point in the process that works to our advantage. All right, I've crafted this process with a specific vision in mind. Even if you're stepping into this with zero expertise, no confidence to speak of, trust that you can navigate through these interviews, embody the part, and truly shine. Now, let's touch on this unintended bonus: free coaching sessions. While it's not our main agenda, the nature of the questions we pose throughout this interview process will inadvertently boost your understanding of the services you offer, which is an incredible win. By the time you've completed this cycle of interviews, your grasp on the service realm will be exponentially stronger. And, just in case they hit you with the question about existing clients when you don't have any, no sweat, you've got this. The key here is to keep it real and stay honest, but at the same time, you've got to frame the situation in a way that ignites excitement, not doubt. You definitely don't want them walking away thinking, this isn't worth my time. So if they hit you with that question, oh, you don't have any clients? Here's how you handle it. When they throw that question your way, you respond confidently, I'm in the process of launching a new paid ads division within my agency from the ground up, and that's precisely why I'm on the hunt for a lead media buyer to steer the ship. See, you're not directly saying, no, I don't have any clients. Instead, you're painting a picture of growth and opportunity, positioning yourself as an agency that's expanding and opening new doors. On that note, for sure, you might catch me leveling up the media game, searching for a real leader to elevate the whole scene to stellar heights. You feel me? It's a whole different vibe than just laying back saying, I ain't got no clientele. You still down to grind with me? It hits different, right? So we're conquering that imposter syndrome, no doubt. All right, so this chapter, we're really diving deep into the worksheets, and to kick things off, we're crafting your interview strategy. You can grab this right under the video. It's ready for download. Now, I ain't gonna run through the whole script with you, but just like with our application form, we're killing it in the game because we flip the script and ask for input, not the usual output questions. We're talking input here. What have they really fed their minds to cook up the outcomes they're speaking on, you know? For these interview questions, trust, they're going to hit just right because we're throwing hands-on questions their way. These questions, they're golden because nothing tests someone's knowledge like this, straight up. Plenty out there, they talk a good talk, but when it's time to walk, they're stumbling. With these questions, we're cutting through the noise, making sure we ain't bringing on just another sweet talker. The responses you get here, they're going to shed a light on your particular service, give you that deep insight and knowledge. So you might be wondering, what exactly are hands-on questions? These are the questions that really get them in the zone, doing the very thing we're looking to bring them on board for. Taking it from our experience, let's say we're on the hunt for someone in paid ads, right? We're not just testing their knowledge, we're getting them right into the action with hands-on questions about Facebook ad strategies. And we're not stopping there, we're diving deep into hands-on ad copy as well. So we're talking about crafting the words for the ads. And by copy, I mean the text that pops up alongside an ad. Picture this. You've got your ad image, and right there with it, you've got your ad copy, the written words. When we get to round 1 of the interviews, we're looking at around 30 to 35 folks. And just so, you can go through the whole thing, read it top to bottom, all details laid out for you. but here's how we're going to lay it out, all right? For slide 1, we're giving them a rundown of the process. We're actually going to put together a whole slide deck. Trust me, slides just bring that polished look. They elevate the whole presentation. They scream professionalism. It's clear you've invested the time, and they bring the visuals, which is key since we're hitting them with hands-on questions. I've even got a sample right here from one of my students to show you what I'm talking about. And I believe in his approach, but don't just go and clone what he's done, all right? Throw your own flavor into it. It doesn't need to be an exact blueprint, but get that it's crucial to bring the same degree of professionalism, or even crank it up a notch, to match what this guy's put down. So I've got a sample here from one of my learners, and here's how it breaks down. We start them off with an overview of what's about to go down. That's your first slide. Moving on to the second slide, we're diving straight into a case study. So right here in the first round of interviews, we're putting a case study on the table. Now, diving into this case study, you might be wondering, how do we actually piece this together? Don't worry, I've got you covered with a step-by-step on assembling this case study right here. So what we'll do is we'll head over to Facebook Success Stories, and let me break it down for you. It looks something like this, all right? Over here, you're going to sift through and choose one that fits the bill, all right? For this scenario, we're zoning in on e-commerce. Now, what you're really aiming for is to find a brand that aligns perfectly with your specific sub-niche. That's the sweet spot. So, just to paint a picture, imagine your field is home decor, okay? Take Loveron as an instance. What you're aiming to pinpoint here is their objective. In a perfect scenario, they were on a mission to draw in new customers. That's what you want to keep your eyes peeled for. You'll stumble upon a variety of other case studies with different objectives, but if you want to narrow it down even further, you can filter by objective. Website conversions. But hey, it's all good, no stress. So you're focusing on e-commerce and website conversions, and your goal is to select a relevant case study straight from Facebook. We're diving into the success stories Facebook has to offer. We don't even need our own case studies for this. And just to be clear, this isn't about selling anything, it's purely a knowledge check. All right? So yeah, we can absolutely take advantage of the case studies Facebook has laid out for us. All right, so you've got yourself a case study in hand here. Now remember, if home decor is your arena, make sure you pick something that's right in your wheelhouse. Once you've got that sorted, it's time to apply your filters and really hone in on what you need. I've laid it all out for you, showing you exactly how to filter and find the brand feature that fits your niche. Ideally, you want to snag one that's right in your domain, if possible. From there, you can start compiling the content for the case study. Now, breaking down the case study, you've got different sections to fill out. Section 1, that's where you dive into their story. All right, for Section 1, their story, feel free to pull directly from the success stories. Just copy and paste. The same goes for Section 2, their goal. It's all there in the success stories. Now, when we hit Section 3, that's where we switch it up. Here, you're going to take their goal and flip it into a question. Make sure to keep it fairly broad. For instance, when you're detailing their story, boom, it's right there, got it covered. Now, moving on to their goal. Picture this. I'm handing you a case study, and I want you to visualize this online store. Give it some context. Understand what they're about. This store, it's the hotspot for the latest in furniture, home furnishings, and all those stylish accessories. Now, they've got a mission on their hands. Find a pocket-friendly strategy to pull in new customers from Germany and get them to hit that buy button online. Got it? All right. Next step. Take that goal and spin it into a question. So, Mr. Media Bar, let's get into it. How would you take charge here? Lay it out for us. What's the game plan you'd run with to ensure Loveran pulls in new customers right out of Germany and gets them excited enough to make a purchase online? Right? Keeping it fairly broad is actually a solid move because what you're really looking to catch a glimpse of is how their mind works, how they tackle the question thrown their way. It's less about them hitting you with the perfect answer and more about observing their thought process and approach to the situation. The fantastic part about diving into success stories is that they don't just leave you hanging. They actually serve up their solution. And that becomes an invaluable guide, especially when you're in a spot where pinpointing the right answer might be a bit tricky. That's precisely why I've got a lot of love for Facebook ad success stories. They lay it all out for you, including the solution. Okay, and just keep in mind, it doesn't mean there's only one right solution out there, but having their perspective definitely helps guide you to understand where the right answers should likely fall. All right? Now you might be wondering, how do you actually pinpoint the right answers to these questions? Facebook ad success stories are a solid go-to. But beyond that, you've got to sharpen your skills in pattern recognition. Pay attention, tune in to what people are saying. The first candidate might leave you a bit uncertain about what a good answer sounds like. However, as you go through more candidates and start noticing similar answers popping up, that consistency starts to lend more credibility and validity to their responses. You've really got to hone in and get skilled at spotting these patterns, right? And then there's another piece of the puzzle: body language and tonality. Believe me, it plays a role. The way they carry themselves, the way they articulate and build out their ideas, it all adds up and speaks volumes. I could genuinely assess someone with the sound off just observing their body language. Even if they're spouting total gibberish, just by analyzing their physical cues, the way they express themselves through their movements and gestures, I can gather a lot about their confidence, their thought process, and their overall demeanor. So, even if they're spitting out pure gibberish, just by observing their body language and tonality, I can get a sense of how they organize their thoughts. These nonverbal cues can actually give me quite a bit to work with, allowing me to form an opinion on whether their response holds any water or not. It might not be the top priority, but it's definitely a crucial element. So to break it down, how do you get to the right answer? First up, dive into Facebook ad success stories. They're gold. Next, start recognizing patterns across different candidates. That's key. And third, tune into their body language. Catch the nuances in their tonality and observe how they arrange their thoughts and ideas. Following that, we'll jump into the live walkthrough. Now, this is where things get real. You can throw these two questions their way. Which company's success story really fills you with pride, and can you share why it stands out to you so much? Now, I can't stress enough just how crucial it is to switch up these questions and truly make them your own. You've got to put your unique spin on them. So these right here are the upcoming questions you want to hit them with. Got it? Remember, you've got all the time you need to go over this at your own rhythm. But just so we're clear, that right there wraps up round one. All right, moving forward to the second round of interviews, we're looking at narrowing it down to around 7 to 12 individuals. Just like the first round, we're keeping it practical with hands-on questions. We're going to roll out the ad copy exercise and hit them with 5 quick-fire questions. Now, diving into the ad copy exercise, it's pretty much in the same vibe as round one. We're heading back to check out a Facebook ad success story. This time around, opt for a different brand, all right? Choose a new one and get to work on crafting the content for the ad copy exercise. So, what does the content for this exercise entail? You're looking at breaking it down into 2 main sections. In the first section, we're diving back into the story, right? Give them a bit more flavor, more layers to the story in this hands-on exercise. The reason we're digging deeper is because we want to set the stage for them to craft an ad copy for one of the ads, right? Now, just to clarify, ad copy refers to this text right here. You've got your visual, your creative element, and then you've got the ad copy, which is the textual content. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select a creative, all right? Let me find one that's got a bit more pizzazz. We're going to settle on a creative, like for instance, we take this one. Now, I gotta be real, it might not be top-tier creative, but it'll do. You've laid out the story for them, handed over a creative, and now it's showtime. You're asking them to whip up an ad copy for that particular product, and you're giving them a tight 1 to 2 minutes to do it. Now, let's keep it 100. You and I both know that 1 to 2 minutes isn't nearly enough to churn out top-tier ad copy. But here's the real deal. I'm more interested in peeping your thought process, how you operate under a bit of pressure, and how you handle this on the fly. If you can drop some solid, tangible copy on me, that would be straight fire. You'll notice real quick that the true champs in this game, they can serve up a killer ad copy in less than a minute. That's because they've got the skills and know-how, they've been around the block, and they know exactly how to make things pop. What does a standout ad copy look like, you may ask? You can dive into a sea of examples all over the internet. But here's the real talk. I'm hunting for an ad copy that kicks off with a banging hook. It could hit like a question, something like, ever find yourself wrestling with lackluster ad copy, huh? You feel me? Bushy eyebrows are a whole vibe, right? Now, let's talk about why these slabs rock those thick brows. So here's a little story for you. See, most folks, they wake up, and they're just going through the motions, you know? Man, picture this. A trucker, out on the open road, and just like that, he runs them over. I'm spitting this real talk, straight up, no chaser. Let me break it down with a story for you. But we ain't just stopping there. We need a solid solution and a straight-up call to action, all right? So here's the layout, you dig? First, you spot the issue, lay it out there with a question, get them hooked, get their minds turning. Then, you don't just stop, you stir it up, agitate that problem. Paint a picture, tell a story, let the drama build, you know? And then bam, you hit them with the solution. That's the whole reason we kicked off this brand. Take Deerberg, for example. We saw everyday women out here hustling, trying to get those bushy brows, and we said, nah, we gotta do something about this. So that's what we did, and we were straight up fed up seeing the lack of info out there. So what did we do? We brought the game changer to the table, the bushy eyebrow toolkit. This ain't just any solution. It's an all-in-one, get it done in 2 minutes, answer to all your bushy eyebrow needs, for real. 8. So after we've laid it all out, we need that clear call to action. That's crucial. Now, let me be clear about what I'm not looking for. I don't want none of that 2 or 3 line ad copy that just rushes straight to the sale. None of that basic, get your bushy eyebrows here type of talk. We're aiming higher, you know? You see, it's like everywhere you look, you got these ads throwing deals at you. Like, buy one, get one free. But they're missing the whole point. They ain't telling a story, they ain't grabbing anybody's attention, and they sure as hell ain't giving a clear call to action. And that's just not the vibe we're going for, okay? That's the breakdown, and with that laid out, we're diving into 5 questions that we're aiming to switch up, okay? Just laying it out there to give you a feel of what kind of things we're looking to ask. For instance, we're talking about their strongest suit, their biggest downfall, you know, really getting into it. Once again, I can't stress enough that these need a revamp, but it's all about giving you a glimpse into the direction we're headed. So, we've got these stages, right? Round 1, round 2 of the interview. And when we hit that final question of round 2, that's crucial. That's where you hit them with the big one, asking them straight up what their rate or fee is per month, per client. It's key, really lays it all out on the table. You gotta hit them with that, what's your rate? Question. Now don't get it twisted, we're not here to dictate the price. Nah, we let the market do its thing, set the tone for us. And when it comes to the best candidate we've seen, someone who's really knocked our socks off, we let them know they've stood out. It's all about finding that balance, you know? If this standout candidate comes through and says, my fee, it's $450 a month, then bet, that's the market fee. Because we've made the call, decided this person is top tier, the best we've talked to. So, if that's their rate, that sets the bar, and we know that's the max we're willing to put down for other applicants. Keeping it real, keeping it fair, that's how we do. Right away, everyone else falls in a different bracket. They're valued less, just like that. See, it's crucial to let the market dictate the price, not put that weight on your own shoulders. You gotta ask them straight up, what's your price? And once they lay it on you, give them a nod of respect, thank them for their time and let them know, we'll hit you up, give you a shout in the next couple of days. Keep it smooth, professional, you know? Moving into round 3 of the interviews, we're keeping it tight, narrowing it down to 2 to 5 individuals. By this stage, you should have a clear understanding of the going rate for your candidate's fee. Now, it's real talk. You've been through rounds 1 and 2, and by now, there's usually that one candidate you're leaning towards, you feel me? But real talk, even if you're torn between 1, 2, or 3 potential candidates, you've got options. Let's say your top pick hit you with that $450 rate. You can work with that. Now, I'm not about lowballing or playing hardball in negotiations, but with the other candidates, you might lay it out like, look, we're working with a $400 budget for this position. It's all about measuring up, seeing if that cost advantage makes sense for you, weighing your options. Now, let me keep it 100 with you. A difference of 50, 100, or even 200 bucks. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a major game changer. You gotta understand, this money isn't coming straight out of your pocket. Let's break down how the whole structure works, right? We're only shelling out this money when a client is putting cash in our hands. So, in reality, it's not a big deal. But hey, it's still something you might want to think over. Weigh your options and make the best move for your situation. When it comes to the nitty-gritty, the logistics, hold up on making any snap decisions right there in the moment. Instead, just show your gratitude, thank them for sharing their time, and assure them they'll be hearing back from you within the next 1 or 2 days. And here's a key point to remember. While you're aiming to bring just one person on board, always have a second and third choice lined up and ready to go. It's all about being prepared, having your bases covered. Let these individuals know, reassure them that the moment a new slot opens up, they'll be the first to hear from us. I'm referring to having backup options, which is completely standard in this industry. This strategic move will not only give you peace of mind, letting you sleep soundly at night, but also ensures that the person you've hired knows they can't start slacking off because we've got alternatives, we've got options on standby. All right, let's say things take a turn and you start thinking, maybe I made the wrong call. No stress, you're covered. You've got your backup options waiting in the wings, and you've already told them you'll be reaching out soon. That right there, that's the abundance mindset in action. And last but not least, don't forget to keep it professional and send out those rejection letters. It's all about maintaining that respect and courtesy throughout the process. Absolutely, it's just the right thing to do. You've got to show people the same respect you'd want in return. So, I strongly recommend taking the time to send out those rejection letters, expressing your gratitude for their time and effort. It's about maintaining good practices and leaving a positive impression, no matter the outcome. So, yeah, definitely take my advice to heart, read through this whole thing thoroughly, but most importantly, don't skip out on sending those rejection letters. And with that, you've got a solid framework for your interview process. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about handling payments for your contractor. You might be wondering, how am I supposed to pay this person 400, 600 bucks? Well, let me break it down for you, give you an overview of how the payment structure works. I get it. The bank account might not be overflowing right now. But no worries, that's totally fine. Here's the deal. We only break bread with our contractor when we've sealed the deal with a client. Let's lay it out with an example. Picture this. It's the 1st of December, and you just landed a new client. They pay up on that same day. You, my friend, won't be paying your contractor until the month rolls to an end. That's how we set it up. So, you're looking at dispersing that payment to your contractor either on the 1st of January or maybe even the 30th of December, all right? It's crucial to have this start and end strategy in mind. This right here is how we maintain a really solid cash flow, ensuring everything's flowing smooth and steady. All right, let's break it down a bit more. Imagine a client drops $2,000 in your lap, right? From that, you pay your contractor their $450, and just like that, you've secured yourself a really solid cash flow. Now here's the key. You don't want to be paying your contractor at the start of the month. And let's say they come at you, saying, I want my money at the beginning of the month. You can hit them back with a, look, I get where you're coming from, just to build that rapport, keep things smooth. Okay, to ease into things and establish trust, especially if they seem a bit skeptical or uncertain, you could propose, for the first 3 months, let's do it this way. I'll pay you half at the start of the month and the other half at the end of the month. It's all about building that rapport, showing them you're reliable and committed to a smooth partnership. Considering that you haven't established a solid relationship yet, they might have concerns about payment. In this case, you can assure them by offering this split payment method at the start. However, make sure to communicate clearly that this is a temporary arrangement, and once trust is established, payments will shift to the end of the month. It's worth noting, though, that most contractors are completely fine with end-of-month payments once that trust and understanding are in place. All right, moving forward to the contract agreement. I've prepared a contractor agreement for you, ready to be sent out to the contractor you decide to bring on board. I've got it all laid out for you right here. Take your time, go through it thoroughly, and make sure you understand all the details before proceeding. You've got to make a choice here. If Facebook and Google ads are your jam, then keep that part in the contract. If not, replace it with whatever fits your needs. So, be sure to give it a good read, tailor it to suit your specific requirements. Insert your preferred contact details, the agreed upon rate, and don't forget to add your agency's name. Make it all official and up to par. You've got to get hands-on and personalize this contract. Insert your agency's name, the address, and make sure to fill out any other necessary fields to ensure everything is tailored to your situation. That right there is your contractor contract, ready to roll once you've made those adjustments and added in all the required details. And don't forget, there are parts here that you'll need to customize as well, okay? So that's what's up with the contractor contract. Alongside that, you've got the contractor agreement to handle. Now, here's the rundown on how to get everything signed and sealed. You're totally free to make a copy of this document, tweak it, and truly make it your own. And just to keep things smooth, we'll have it all set up for download right below the video. So that's what you need to know to get all your paperwork in order. So I've laid out a step-by-step guide for you on how to secure that signature on your contractor agreement. We'll be rolling with HelloSign for this. Here's the lowdown on how it's done. First things first, you're going to want to take that contractor agreement I've hooked you up with and give it your own touch. Include all the details about what the work entails and slap your brand on there to make it official. Once you've customized the contractor agreement to your satisfaction, go ahead and download it as a PDF file. Now, it's time to get yourself set up with HelloSign. Just hit the link provided here. We're diving into HelloSign because it's a top-notch platform for electronic signatures. Keep in mind it's about $10 a month, but it's a solid investment for streamlining this whole process. So here's the deal. You don't need to rush into spending your money on this or getting all signed up until you are absolutely ready and sure about it. Hold off on it until you've got your contractor picked out and you're all set to bring them on board. Make sure everything is lined up perfectly before you take this step. Not only will this be crucial for onboarding your contractor, but it's also going to be a game changer when you start signing clients and need to send out agreements to them. So, when you're ready, dive into your HelloSign account and hit sign or send. And just to connect the dots for you, this process of sending agreements to clients is something we delve deep into in the core program I mentioned right at the beginning. So everything's connected and set up to help you navigate through these steps smoothly. All right, here's the game plan. Get that PDF on deck, plug in your contractor's email, and let's get that signature locked in. We're navigating through HelloSign, smooth and steady. Hit sign or send, whichever feels right. Next up, upload your file, and then just like that, click next. Keep it moving, we're on our way. Next, the system's going to guide you to add those signers, set up the fields for signing, give it a once-over, and send it off. Real talk, it's a straightforward move. HelloSign's got us covered, making everything smooth and seamless. So we can cut out all that back and forth with the paper signatures, keeping it 100, simple, and efficient. All right, so that's the rundown on locking in the contractor agreement. Got that signed and sealed. Now, let's dive a bit into the team architecture. Keep it swift. You might be sitting there wondering, if the contractor's handling their business, what's our part in this? Let's clear that up. We touched on this a bit in the last talk, but trust, we're about to dive in deeper. Let's break down what you need to know about team architecture at this stage. Picture this. We're the CEOs. So there you have it. We're positioned right at the summit. Now, when you see MB, that stands for media buyer. That's your specialist, your guru in ads. These are the folks putting in work online, purchasing media, tapping into Facebook ads. Basically, you're looking at a Facebook ad virtuoso. Now, a media bar, these experts, they've got the capacity to manage around 6 to 7 clients for us, handling their business with precision. And when I talk about the science, I'm referring to the real craft behind it all, the optimization of ads directly within the Facebook ads platform. They've got that down to an art. They're on top of scaling ads, and they know just when to cut ads that aren't hitting the mark. That's the science I'm talking about. Then there's the art side of things, the crafting of ad copy, which we've delved into in this module. And the creatives? Yeah, I've given you a glimpse of how crucial they are, especially when it comes down to choosing the right images and videos for the ads. They play a pivotal role in bringing the whole vision to life. Obviously, we dive much deeper into the core offer, dissecting the nuances of ad copy and the creative aspects. However, at this juncture, it's crucial to grasp that the team architecture is precisely as described. It's about understanding the distinct roles and how each contributes to the overarching strategy. We go above and beyond, and this is exactly the point where the media bar steps in, playing a vital role. Now, talking about action steps, first things first, you've got to put together your interview process presentations. Crucial step right there. Start making those calls, get in touch with potential candidates, and have those interviews. And don't forget, you need to personalize that contract or agreement template. Make it your own. That's how we do it. Can't stress it enough. It's vital to make everything tailor-fit to you. You've got to own it. Put your stamp on it. Don't just take questions and paste them as they are. That's not the move. Dive in, engage with the process. It's crucial, a solid investment that's bound to bring in substantial returns as you move forward. This is groundwork that will set the stage for everything else. All right, prioritize putting in that work and dedication. Look, no need to worry if the number of applicants isn't sky high within the initial days, all right? This journey, it's neither too drawn out nor too fleeting. It's striking that perfect balance, understand? And with that, we wrap up this session, closing the chapter on this particular module. I'll be catching you on the flip side in our next encounter.